Hello and welcome back to Up the Villa podcast. This is our predicted lineup for Aston Villa v West Ham United on Sunday. Really looking forward to the game. Can't wait for it. And it's a tough game. It's a really, really tough game. Two teams that have started the season very, very well, but two teams with a stark contrast of playing styles. And I'm about to show you in depth, like we did in the Brighton one, West Ham United in depth with the ball, without the ball, tactical analysis. So I'm going to put this out there. If you learn something from this episode, we're going to do it. We're going to do a task here. If you learn something from this episode, you have to subscribe. So if you sat there and you've not learnt nothing, then don't subscribe. But if you've learnt something and you've enjoyed it, then subscribe to this channel. Drop a like and comment your thoughts in the comment section down below. So we're going to get straight on in there then. We're going to talk about West Ham United first, and then we're going to have a look at their strengths, how they play, and then we're also going to have a look at Aston Villa's predicted lineup for this game as well. So West Ham United, what are they? What do they do? What do they do well? And they do stuff very, very well. So they are a counter-attacking team. Majority of the time, they sit with a low block with physical strength in Antonio and a technical midfield. So far this season, they're a side that's played the fewest passes, but are playing the most passes going forward. Majority of their passes always go forward. Their goalkeeper looks to go long virtually every time as well. So when defending, what do they do? Because this is one of their biggest strengths, which then transitions to the counter-attack, which then shows you their strengths on the counter. So they defend with a 4-1-4-1. Alvarez sits in the 1 with then a midfield 4 of Paqueta, Souček, Ward-Prowse and Bowen. Occasionally, when defending as well, it then will become a 5. So it will become a 5 across there. But in essence, what they want to become is they really want to become this 4-1-4-1. There's no space in between the lines. They are conceding half of the pitch to a mid-block, pressing no more than 30 metres in depth. So this is their zone where they are. This mid-block, there's no space in between the defence to the midfield as well. It's very compact. It's very organised. And their defensive line is high. So Aston Villa's defensive line is high, but because Aston Villa are trying to be this progressive team that are expansive, that want the ball, that really want to manipulate and move the ball everywhere, we become this team that's slightly more open than West Ham. West Ham are very defensive, very resolute, very organised. Everybody knows their positions. Everybody knows their zones, and they set the trap. So what they do leave is they leave Antonio. This would be higher up the pitch. They leave Antonio with a 2v1 always. Antonio is the only player that's ever passed where the ball and the shape of the team is. So he's always got this 2v1. He's always high and he's always above the line of the ball. So you can expect to see Antonio occupying the two centre halves, which would probably be a little bit higher up the pitch than this. The midfield 5 will always shift whichever side the ball is on. So they will always shift side to side. When it then goes back to the left-hand side, everybody then will shift in their zones to the opposite side of the pitch. So they're always shifting from side to side. No passes will go through the centre. They're always looking to force the opposition out wide to either side. So you can expect to see Villa play Bailey or Diaby out wide. Both those players will be looking to do some damage out wide. It's very difficult to play through West Ham United. If the ball does go into these sort of central areas, the centre-backs are very, very aggressive. So you can look to see the centre-backs really be aggressive if the ball goes into an area that needs to be attacked. They are not hesitant to do so. So that is sort of how they play. They're very aggressive with their centre-halves. But their defending is very clever, and it's something that really we don't really see, this man-for-man zonal marking. So what they occupy, West Ham United, is they have zones. So all across the pitch, it's split into zones. So each player has a zone. So what happens if you've got, say, for example, Ollie Watkins. So we've got Ollie Watkins here now. So Ollie Watkins may well be in Palmeiro Emerson's zone. Until Watkins moves out of this zone, Emerson conveys this area here. The minute Watkins moves out of Emerson's zone, he then becomes into Aguard's zone. So it's this man-for-man continual zonal marking in the zone that that player is in. So if Watkins becomes in this area, he's for, well, Alvarez is man, and he cannot leave Alvarez's sight. If we then move into Zuma's zone, he then becomes Zuma's player. So they've really got this zonal man-for-man structure as well. That's why they're so structured. That's why they're so organised. It's how they just defend really, really well. But what we can see with the striker as well is that if needs be, Alvarez will follow Ollie Watkins and make up part of that defence as well. So Alvarez is comfortable dropping into a centre-back role to give Zuma and Aguard sort of help, and he's not afraid to do that. And what this does allow them to do as well is have strength and structure as well. What we do see as well with West Ham United is the triangle. So the triangle of Alvarez, Zuma and Aguard. What this allows them to do is have a man advantage in central midfield as well. They're comfortable playing in tight areas, and they're comfortable playing sort of in through the lines. So their structure is really, really good defensively. Now, in transition, what are they all about? So we've spoke about how defensively they will be quite resolute, they're organised, they're compact. They don't want to play centrally through the pitch. They want you to go out wide. But what happens if they win the ball in midfield? Now, this is where they come to life. We already know that they don't want to play build-up football. They don't want to knock it sideways. They don't want to build up slowly. They want to get the ball forward quickly, fast, and attack very, very direct. So what are they looking to do? For example, West Ham have won the ball in central midfield. First pass, first thought is bang into Antonio. Now, that ball has gone from, say, Alvarez into Antonio. Antonio may be coming in a little bit deeper. Antonio will play a pass into their technical midfield. So their technical midfield players like Souček, Ward-Prowse, Alvarez, there's been a layoff here. So the layoff has gone straight into Antonio, straight into Souček. Where do we know that West Ham's strengths lie? Here and here. So that next pass is over the top. It's over the top to Paqueta. It's over the top to Bowen, and they are away. So that move on transition into striker, into technical midfield player, two wingers over the top, and that is West Ham's attacking shape in a nutshell. Aston Villa have to be wary of this. Aston Villa will know that this is about to happen. So it's just something that we have really, really got to be aware of. The keeper, Areola, again, Premier League traits. We see this happen with a lot of teams in the Premier League. This isn't West Ham. West Ham's goal kicks go down here and here. So West Ham's goal kicks will majority of the time always go long. What that does then enable them to do is Paqueta and Bowen to try and aerially win the ball back, which will then give players like Ward-Prowse the opportunity to come and support, Souček the opportunity to come and support if that ball's been won. If that ball hasn't been won, what we do find is that the opposing teams will sometimes knock it out for a throw-in or have to knock it out for a corner, or they'll win a free kick, building up slowly. So slowly into that attack, whether they've got a throw-in or a free kick, who've they got? Mr. Ward-Prowse. So getting up the top end of that pitch, winning those free kicks, winning those duels, enables Ward-Prowse to get quality deliveries into the box. And, you know, they're getting a lot of goals. They've got a lot of XG this season from set pieces. So set pieces is something that they look to work on. But I've got written down here a little spider diagram of what they all are about. Target man, pace, skill, distribution, free kicks, set pieces, Ward-Prowse, delivery, and XG of set pieces is very, very high. So in a nutshell, that is how West Ham will look to attack and play against Aston Villa. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do our predicted lineup, and I'm going to have a look at what I predict, and then I'll try and have a little look at how I think we can beat and get the result at home against West Ham United. So if you have learnt something there and you did enjoy the breakdown of West Ham, then hit subscribe. It helps me out massively. I'm trying to take the podcast into, especially on the predicted lineups, a tactical element, a tactical concept of showing you how the opposition play, and how I think we can counteract it, and just bring you a different vibe at the minute. And I'm really enjoying it. I love tactics, and I just really enjoy doing these episodes, researching about different sides as well. So, and then it just gives you guys something that you can keep an eye on when you're at the games as well, and gives you a bit of a better understanding of what you can expect. So, what can we expect from Aston Villa then? So, I am going to go with Emi Martinez in goal. Again, he's been keeping clean sheets for Argentina. And I think we're going to change the back four. I think we're going to go back to more of two wingers. And my reason for this is, although we're going to have that defensive structure, so we know Luke Dean will probably go forward. These two players will sit probably a little bit more like this. I think against West Ham, for how they play, how direct they are, I think we're going to need a bit of pace in the team. And I really like Cash's tenacity. And I think when Cash was up against Matoma, against Brighton, he did absolutely amazing. So I think Cash tenacity against Paqueta, I think he can get the upper hand on Paqueta. So we're going to go with the double pivot of Kamara and Luiz. Picks itself, really. But what I think we will see in this game as well is I think we will see a little bit of a two attacking. So we'll see Cash go forward and Luke Dean go forward. But then what that will enable us to do is I think we'll see Kamara just sit in that little bit more of that defensive shape and maybe making up that back three at the same time as well. So I think we might see a little bit of that as well. Two in front of the double pivot is going to be McGinn on the left, which is something that we haven't seen for a few games. I think McGinn will be on the left. And I think Bailey's in the 30s, isn't he? Bailey 30. Where's Bailey? Bailey 31. So I think Bailey is going to be in that sort of making up that box midfield. And then we're going to finish it off with Mr. Moussa Diaby. So this is what we've got from Villa then. So let's just show you what it's going to look like up against West Ham. So we know Antonio is going to occupy two centre-halves. That's going to happen all game. We've got Watkins and we've got Diaby. We're going to have Bailey as the player that's going to be out wide for Aston Villa. We've got Louise, we've got McGinn, we've got Luca Dean, who's probably going to be going forward. Cash up against Paqueta. So I really think it's going to look something similar. Let's just get a bit higher because we know they'll play that mid-block. So I think it's going to look something similar to this. So I think what we're going to see, Bailey's going to go out wide. Diaby is going to be that player that drops to make up a box midfield. So a box midfield will be sitting in this zone here. So you'll have Diaby, McGinn, you'll have Louise. Let's just move that there. So you'll have Louise will be there. And then you will have Kamara. So you've got that box that's going to be in that midfield area there for Aston Villa. I've gone with Bailey dropping out wide. We've seen this season as well, that Diaby can drop into there and then Bailey can actively be that wide player. I've left Zaniolo out because I'm not sure where we are with Zaniolo. We've not heard anything. From what I'm reading between the lines, I think everything is probably going to be okay. So I think he's staying. I think there'll be an investigation. The last couple of rumours that I've seen coming out of Italy is that there's going to be no sort of crime has been committed. So I think that's good. And he'll probably just play while that investigation goes on. So let's just have a little look again at the team then. So I think it's going to be important that everybody just wins their battles. They are very difficult to play through. But Aston Villa have got pace. We've got pace to move their team around, and we've got players that can drop. We've got players that can stretch. So I think we can just move them around. It's important that we know that West Ham like to have players that are in their zone. So if there's players in their zone, then that's who they have to mark. So individual battles. So it'd be important for our players to try and break through those lines, to commit and to take on their opposition players. But I think for me, it's just really, really important that when this ball goes into Antonio and it gets popped off, we have to be in a good defensive position. We have to be prepared for Paqueta to run down there, for Bowen to run down there, and to advance, and for them not to get in behind us. That would be absolute suicide. And I'm going to say it now. I do not want to see Jared Bowen in this area with Aston Villa absolutely scrambling like we saw against Neto. Now, West Ham would be looking at that game with Neto and looking at Bowen thinking, you're going to get joy in this game. So it's so important that if Bowen is isolated with Pau Torres in this area here, we commit to take the foul. We cannot allow Bowen to be in and around these areas in 1v1 positions. We've got to take and commit early, make the foul, be aggressive, and just stop them. Because Bowen's at his best when he's at that 1v1 or he's running in behind. So I'm just going to say it now. I don't want to see Bowen or any West Ham player one-on-one with Emi Martinez at any point in this game, because it's obvious what their game plan is. The line's got to be high from Aston Villa, but it's got to be strong. It's got to be resolute. That's how we play. That we know that West Ham are going to play this same way, this counter-attacking football, and we just can't be stretched. The pattern that I do see in this game is Aston Villa to have a lot of the ball, to be really dominant, to be trying to break them down.
but we've also got to have that defensive mindset of what West Ham's traits are, that if we do lose that ball, we could possibly be at 6s and 7s, because we know what crowd is it could potentially be like. We've seen it so far that we're trying to win the game, we're trying to play our expansive shape, but we just can't get caught. And that's the biggest thing that I'm going to say for Aston Villa in this game, is to not get caught on that counter. So hopefully you've enjoyed my tactical episode on Aston Villa v West Ham United. If you've enjoyed it, hit a thumbs up. If you've gained anything from it, if you've learned anything, then you got to hit subscribe, because that's what I said at the start of the episode. So yeah, just subscribe. It helps me out. I'm trying to bring you lots of different content, very variable, so nothing's the same. So whatever concept we have, match preview, we're all on it. Predicted lineup, really tactical, takes a look at both teams. Opposition previews, there's an opposition fan coming on talking about their team. We've got the press conference reacting to what Unai says. We've got score predictions where you can predict and try and climb the table. Debrief, where we look at tactical side of things. We look at what we've learned from the game. With slides, with stats, with tactical side of things. And then we've got raw emotion of match reactions. We've got fan cams, which have gone up a level this season and continue to do so. We got loads. We got loads for you. And I just do it for you guys to enjoy, to hopefully learn things, and to chat in the comment sections down below, and just share your thoughts. So fan cams will be back under the lights, because we've got a new light for the fan cams. So my sort of bag of what I wear to the Villa is getting like bigger and bigger with the amount of tech that I'm taking to a game. So yeah, we take all of our tech with us. So yeah, really looking forward to doing the fan cam this week. It's great to see so many of you enjoying them and getting involved. To see all the kids that are coming, for them to get involved and have a say as well. It's there for absolutely everybody to get involved with. So yeah, subscribe. Up the Villa. Next, we will have opposition preview. Then we'll have press conference on Friday. I'm going to the women's game at Bescott on Saturday, and I'm going to vlog it. So we'll do a vlog for the women's game on Saturday, and then we'll have all of our content, match content, on Sunday. Up the Villa. You